live. This is hold on.
We're going to start with the Raiders, Brad. It's Indiana Hoosiers Live 72. Indiana's going to be nasty in the trenches again in 2026, presented by FanDuel. We'll start with the Raiders, Brad. For the first time in NFL history, maybe, a team backed out of a trade. And so I was all prepared to come on here and talk about how awesome the Raiders have been doing and lining up their team nicely for Fernando. And one of the biggest pieces of that was trading Max Crosby for 2 first-round picks. And then I look down and Max Crosby's back on the Raiders. So what are your initial thoughts about that?
Initial thoughts. I just updated Twitter and I'm back on white. It's not dark mode anymore. So that's really frustrating me right now. So I need to figure that out. It's been so long. I don't even know where to change that. Elon, if you can get back to me, we can sort this one out. Anyways, yeah, I've never really heard anything like that happening in football ever. It's a common thing in basketball. Like you heard Mark Williams from Dalton Connect like the year before. That happens all the time in basketball, actually. Pretty common. Never heard this happening before in football, to be honest, especially a trade of this magnitude. That's pretty crazy. Maybe the Albert Hainsworth. I don't know. He maybe had something with a physical. Like that was like 15 years ago. This is some of the craziest moves, which is huge. I'm so glad I was wearing. It's so funny because before he told me that, I was going like I was just spazzing at the Bears. Now we know the price. Oh, and he didn't pass his physical, so now it's only a first and a second. So,
I'm still stunned. I don't really have a take on that. It's just unbelievably surprising to commit to trading 2 first-round picks for somebody, and even that felt like a lot, right? That's a lot of like draft capital to allocate towards anybody. But Max Crosby is a really good football player, right? You make your choices. You know, a lot of teams were lining up to do that, so that's not to say that like that was an overpay or anything. But it's like you have to sit. You're not just like on a whim, like let's get rid of 2 first-round draft picks. Like you have to sit there and think about that decision. So for them to back out completely from the trade is stunning.
What is okay? I guess from a Max Crosby sense, opens up the door. I think the Cowboys and the Bears were big suitors for him from an NFL lens. Big from a Raiders sense, from an IU football sense, this is not good. The Raiders just lost their first round picks they're going to be getting, which they're going to probably use to build around Mendoza. Likely going to use it on an offensive lineman in the first round. Likely to use it on a weapon in year 2, which is usually what you do when you have your franchise guy. You build the O-line first, and then you go get him a receiver in year 2. Like a Jamar Chase, like go get him. Your guy, obviously the Bengals inversed it, did it a little differently. But yeah, usually in year 2 is when you go get your guy and try to like one up it. And however it may be, whether it's through the trade or in the draft. So interesting. That kind of throws a wrench into the Raiders' plans a little bit, which as Indiana football co-hosts, we are somewhat Raiders adjacent. I am a Raiders fan. My brother, I'm a Bears fan, but my brother's a Raiders fan. I grew up in LA. It's a Raiders town. The Raiders are LA's team. Like that is the take I will always have because it is. It's true. And I don't know. I guess we're what do you call it? Semi Raiders fans, I guess. There's a term
supporters. I don't know. You know what I like to call it, Brad? I like to call it the local team.
The local team.
I mean, they're not technically. I mean, they weren't super local to you grew up, but like Monrovia. I don't know.
That it damn near like drive time wise, Vegas might be closer than SoFi Stadium. That's a joke, but well, it could be. That's a traffic joke, I guess, it's a clever joke, sorry. Yeah, not good for the Raiders. We're probably not going to get 2 firsts for him now they failed the physical. Do they keep Max Crosby? I think Max Crosby just has to leave at this point. So it's like now the price is like, I think that if someone's going to get him for a first and a second, and that's what the Cowboys were offering.
Oh, Brad, let me update some context for you, because this was also in a tweet from Schefter, and this is literally Schefter's own words. Welp, it's not just players that can change their minds; teams can too. But clearly, there's a reason, and Max Crosby still had to take and pass a physical coming off a significant knee injury. So he hadn't even taken the physical yet. So it wasn't physical related. Could related where they looked at it and went, "This isn't great." Maybe.
Uh-oh.
The way it's reading is that they went, they made the trade. They were like all happy. They looked at the reaction of it. They went, "Oh my God, we overpaid. How do we get out of this?" That's how it reads right now. This is crazy. That's nuts.
They're like trying to sabotage his career almost at this point. That's crazy. I've never heard something like that. Since like an Albert Hainsworth, when I think here, let me look this up. There's just something going on with Albert Hainsworth. There's always something going on with him.
Albert Hainsworth. I can't believe you're locked on Albert Hainsworth right now. This is so insane.
Because this is the closest thing I can think of in memory. This happened in 2010, 16 years ago. The closest thing in memory where it was like a big deal, like some NFL player like failed some sort of physical like test or something like that. And Albert Hainsworth got to training camp and failed his like workout, which is like a big deal because he's like the highest paid D tackle at the time.
Can I ask you a question?
But coming off a knee injury, he hurt that later this offseason. It's funny how they're like evaluating that when it feels like he should be like month 5 into his rehab, month 4.
Can I ask you a question
early to tell.
That's more draft process related? And I guess fairness is the wrong word, but if you're the Raiders, and like, when did this trade go through? Right, it's been more than, has it been a week, a couple days, whatever?
It was 3 days.
3 days. So you're the Raiders for 3 days.
Based on Twitter,
you're doing draft prep and having meetings and talking to guys and telling people, like, you're building your board around having those picks. So what? Is there any sort of like repercussions there? Or is it kind of just like you had it, now you don't have it? It is what it is.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm still trying to figure. Sorry, I've been trying to figure out how to turn my Twitter dark again. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to
fix it. No. You have to do it, and I'll fix it for you after this. It's not.
Okay.
You don't need Elon
on that. Ask me the question again.
The Raiders basically spent the last 3 days prepping like they had the 14th pick in the draft. So they're talking to prospects. Like they're having these types of conversations. They're maneuvering their board in a way that is, I guess I don't know. How much does this interrupt the Raiders process? And is there any repercussions to just having to give back these 2 picks?
It definitely disrupts things, but I don't think in terms of how you're posing it, like, I don't know if it's as big of a deal. Like, when you go through a draft prep, you're prepping, obviously evaluating players, but also a big part of it is understanding what your draft capital is, where you can potentially make moves, being able to, evaluate players, guessing where they're going to be, where you're going to need to get them. And it's like you're accounting for ever, changing via trades. Like, lots of trades happen during the draft. Especially when it's just straight draft capital, and that happens all the time.
Well, the other thing,
but
Brad,
in terms of just like all of a sudden you had an extra first round pick this year, and now you don't. Yes, obviously it's gonna change some things. Right?
Honestly, I'm just looking in the wrong spots because I saw the tweet about the pick. But Ray GQ on Twitter just goes, so all that money the Raiders just committed to paying those free agents because Max Crosby's contract came off the books.
That's the bigger piece of it, would be the free agency piece. The draft
can
doesn't
you give
affect
Tyler
things.
Linderbaum 3 years, $81 million if you don't trade Max Crosby.
Funny, this happens the day after they sign Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum over the Ravens. Huh. Sounds like they'd rather have Tyler Linderbaum than Max Crosby. That's the initial reaction right there. You couldn't get more initial than that. Funny. Raiders sign Ravens player. Ravens rescind trade with Raiders where they lose 2 first-round picks over a failed physical. On
He
a guy
didn't. No, Brad. He never took the physical. He didn't take it.
Oh, it didn't happen?
No.
He
hadn't
said
taken
he
physical
failed
yet.
it?
No.
I read that he failed a physical. Where did you see that he didn't take a physical?
Schefter.
Because Daniel Rossini said he did not pass his physical today.
How long ago was that?
20 minutes ago.
Schefter 15 minutes ago said he didn't take it.
There we go. That's the more updated one. I'm going with Schefter here. Nothing against Diana Rossini. I think she's great. Her and Mina Kimes are 2 of the best in the industry. Hashtag women in pro sports.
Mina is so much better.
Sorry. Yeah, Mina knows ball. Like, if you don't think Mina Kimes knows ball, you don't listen to her. And you probably don't know ball.
You said 20 minutes ago. Was it 20 minutes ago or 21 minutes ago? What's the exact timestamp here?
20. It said 20 minutes ago, 1 minute ago.
Schefter timestamp 8:07 p.m.
Dude, I can't even read this Twitter feed because it's like it's been dark on my phone for like over half a decade. I can't even read it. Should we do a live how to turn into night mode on X demo right now?
You have to go to your settings and turn it to like match what your phone's settings are, and then you turn your phone settings to dark mode and it turns the app to dark mode, so it doesn't.
I don't even know how to turn my phone settings to dark mode.
What?
I'm a goddamn Neanderthal. I don't know how to use I sell software, but I don't know how to use technology. I really don't.
Dude.
Pretty inept. Anyways.
Is this her? Nope. All right. Well, yeah, that's crazy. Well, I guess that kind of throws a wrench in the whole like Raiders talk I wanted to open the podcast with. Like, it's funny to just talk about Fernando Mendoza like he's a member of the team, but like he's literally minus 20,000 on FanDuel to be the first overall draft pick. And I mean, does this impact the Raiders? Like, I don't think this changes the way the Raiders look at the draft or like impacts the way they look at the number 1 overall pick. So it
will affect free agency, I believe, pretty effectively. I think they end up getting Max off the books. I mean, we'll see what happens. Like, he's obviously going to end up somewhere that's not the Raiders, in my opinion. He's honestly in just like, yeah, I would say 98% chance, 99% chance he is not an Oakland Raider next year. Like 99.8. 99.8 is my official number. That he is not an Oakland Raider. And I know it's Las Vegas, but it definitely affects their free agency pretty, I don't know, at least as of right now, because they just don't know what draft picks they're going to get now and where that's going to be, especially in the first round where it really is like pick by pick. Whereas as it goes deeper into the draft, it's less about like the exact spot in the draft, more so like an area of it, right? Like groups like 5 or 10, once you get into those later rounds, like picks 1 through 100 are pretty like pick by pick. You know, those are the first 2 days of the draft, rounds 1, 2, and 3. Goes up to 100. Those picks are pretty, because those are supposed to be ideal in the market. Those are NFL starters. Like those are guys that are going to be starters for your team. That's why you're drafting them. Anything past that are guys that are going to just fill up the rest of your roster, and potential like high, potential guys, some sleepers, guys that may start for you, could be key contributors in contributing roles. But your first 3 rounds are supposed to be like star players for your team. So yeah, it will change things. It just depends. Like, it's just kind of wait and see now at this point. Like, what draft are they going to get, a 1 and a 2? Or is it a 1 this year, a 2 this year, or 2 next year? an extra one this year, next year. Like we just don't know. But I think the Linderbaum signing is fine, just in the sense where I think Crosby's going to be off the books. And yes, I think we can talk about it a little bit. Like Raiders signed Baltimore Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum. He was the top center in the market. I saw this initial reaction. It was like in the group chat with all my Raiders friends, like, wow, we are going all in.
In the bear, this guy's got no shame.
The Raiders, my Jags cup, honestly. And then I had a toothbrush in a Raiders cup growing up, like my whole life. So like, the Raiders are probably like my third team if I had to pick one, gun to my head. They always have been. This isn't like a new thing with Fernando. This is like, they've always been like my third team. If I had to go no Bears, no Jags, it'd be Raiders. Raiders over Rams for sure. As my LA team, it's the Raiders. If people ask me who my LA team, I say Raiders. That's my answer always.
Yeah, like that's the story. That's the cover story.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's true. Even though I was Torrey Holt for Halloween, but that was when they were in St. Louis, so it doesn't count. And like, that greatest show on turf, like what we talking about here. Anyways, Raiders putting immediate investment into Mendoza. Starts with the center. They already have left tackle, former 3-star himself, UCLA recruit Colton Miller, Jim Mora era. Franchise left tackle. So they have pieces now, Linderbaum and Miller, that can make a semblance of a O-line. You bring, you don't have to bring 5 all-pros on the O-line. So now at that point, you got like 2 at their ceiling or like, Pro Bowl level players. And then you can fill that in with some veteran or maybe some high-end, top 100 pick talent in the draft. Maybe use one of those spots, one of those 3 fill with a draft pick top 100, and then the other one you probably go free. The other 2 you go free agency, or maybe you have it already in-house and you can work with it. Now it's looking really good for them on the O-line. That's a very good sign, especially if they're somehow able to get. I think they don't really have a top receiver right now at this. Who's their guy right now?
Well, the guy is Brock Bowers. They did go and they got a supplemental guy, Jalen Naylor, which was a nice pickup and like a good piece for Kubiak's offense, but it's not like you said that. The number 1 option is Bowers. The number 2 option is Genty, but that's why that 14th pick was so enticing. Like, is it a little high for Omar Cooper Jr.? Maybe.
It still feels like they're missing a weapon. I think they could use a weapon on the outside. 14 is a lemon spot that Carnell Tate looks like he might be sliding. Like, I'm not a huge Boston guy, but people like Boston. Like, there's a lot of Ione but that's a spot where you can go like, hey, let's get the Penn State guard. Like, let's run the ball. We got Genty. Let's get Ione. I think that guy's going to be a 10-year vet.
The other thing that the Raiders said this week that I thought was brilliant, that I saw people on the timeline like freaking out about, thinking it was anti-Fernando, was that they're looking for a veteran quarterback to come in and they don't want Fernando to start right away. And that was like music to my ears. And so to your point, if the goal isn't even for him to come in and start year 1, if you're going to do that prototypical build where you get that A+ alpha playmaker in year 2, and even with the way the draft is falling, you might end up getting one of the Indiana playmakers in the middle or the like beginning middle end of the 2nd round or 3rd round. So, yeah, I'm with you. It's but yeah, I thought that the fact that he's not going to start right away was, again, music to my ears. What do you think when you heard that? Because I saw some people freaking out.
Remember when I posed the idea of like, hey, like the Raiders, it's not a given they're going to take Mendoza. They can trade back. And I was saying things like that, like just trying to explain that it's not set in stone. At this point, it feels really set in stone just in terms of like what the moves they've been doing. And I mentioned that they could go, placeholder quarterback in the free agency, with Kyler Murray, Tua probably out the door as well. You got your Geno Smith wouldn't work because he was just there. But, Kyler Murray would make a lot of sense for that. A guy that can, in a good system, I feel like make things work. And
I I think a guy like Joe Flacco honestly makes a lot more sense. Like somebody like Kyler Murray is
Mac
going to
Jones.
maybe Mac Jones might be a good one, a chance to like revitalize his career and move on type of deal. But Kyler Murray is somebody who like has the pedigree, like former number 1 overall draft pick, has won everywhere he's gone.
It
Like
would be
that's somebody
weird.
who
It would be
has
weird.
Minnesota written all over him.
You know what Kyler should do? He should go play baseball. That's what he should do. He should go play baseball.
My favorite take
Longevity
from
sport, you know?
my favorite take from the Sideline podcast, Brad, for the podcast that we had in not me and you, but that I had in college, was that when Kyler Murray got drafted by the A's 9th overall, that he should go play baseball. I just wanted to see that type of athlete on a baseball field. I think it's Royce Lewis, honestly, or Byron Buxton when he's healthy. Like that might be what Kyler would have looked like at peak. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying if he stepped on the field right now, that's what he looked like, but project the best version of that guy out might be what like a Buxton or a Royce Lewis looks like, which is an unbelievably exciting baseball player. So you're speaking to, I kind of like the idea there, but no, I think he's a Raider.
Yeah.
Not a Raider. Sorry. A Viking. I think that's a match made in heaven. And I think that that's somebody where if they're ready to move on from JJ McCarthy, like you can very easily talk yourself into him running like Kevin O'Connell's offense. Yeah. Sign me up if I'm Kyler.
You've clearly put more thought into Kyler Murray than I have.
Can you tell I'm a Kyler Murray dynasty owner?
I'm a Kyler Murray. So I couldn't have been more right about Kyler Murray's career in the sense where I actually don't think he's like a complete, like for a number 1 overall pick, like his career's kind of gone exactly as I thought. Like he's a star, very capable of playing in the league. He is a starting quarterback in the NFL. I hate to break it to anyone who thinks otherwise, but that's just the fact. He's one of the best. He's one of the more accomplished football players ever to play the game. From high school upwards, he is a 4-time state highest level all state champion in Texas 4 times. Goes to A&M, 5-star recruit. Goes to Oklahoma, wins the Heisman. Goes to the playoff. Number 1 overall pick. Like it doesn't get individually. It does not get more accomplished than that.
And you could argue he hasn't been put in the best situations to succeed in Arizona. And then when you give him a true number 1, like if you go look at his years with Hopkins, like there were years where he was in fantasy football is a terrible way to evaluate how successful a quarterback can be. But if you're just looking at raw production, like he was unbelievably productive. But he also didn't win a whole lot. And that's the number 1. Like if you're going to, I know wins aren't a quarterback stat, but
as we're learning, it used to be a quarterback stat, maybe like in the 80s and 90s, where I feel like having the best quarterback in the league had a lot more weight to it, and it had a bigger impact on the league as a whole. Like just think like Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. You had all those guys you won. You had those guys you're winning basically no matter what. And now it's the case where you look at the league now today, you look at a Joe Burrow, you look at a who am I missing? I mean, there's plenty.
I mean, the argument falls apart because
Trevor Lawrence before Cohen got there. Like you have these
Josh Allen would have been your
really talented quarterbacks that, you know, aren't winning 12 games a year because they just don't have the system around them comparatively because the defense have gotten better. They're all faster, better athletes. O-line hasn't really been able to keep up with that in a sense. I just feel like the playing field, like there's so many, the talent level in the NFL has gone to a point where the quarterback just doesn't have as much impact. I even have a theory that like the market's going to reflect that. I think quarterbacks are still going to franchise guys are still going to get their $50 million a year, but I think it's going to like the market in terms of increase is going to kind of plateau in the sense where it's like, yeah, the franchise quarterback getting $50 million. Like, what do you have to complain about here? Like, you're getting 55. Like, yeah, you're the top guy. Like, with the Seahawks just winning the Super Bowl with Sam Darnold getting paid $20 million, and he's not even expected to get $50 million a year at this point. And it's like, yeah, you just need a starter level quarterback. You don't need a franchise guy to get you to the end. You need a really good defense and a serviceable quarterback around a really strong offensive system. And that's what that's what teams are trying to replicate all over the league. You look at, you know, all the offensive minds getting hiring. Obviously the Seahawks zigged when they zagged, but like they picked up a Clint Kubiak. So it's like and Clinton Kubiak wasn't just some unknown guy. Like I've known about this guy since we had the Texans the year before. Like He's a guy that said, you find these young offensive minds, you get a good scheme in place, you have a serviceable quarterback that can obviously play, like a Mendoza, like a Darnold, like any of those guys, like not putting them on the same level, but I'm just saying those are starters in the league.
Come on.
I'm just saying those are starters in the – you can't scoff at me putting Mendoza and the kid that just won the Super Bowl in the same breath. Okay, you just can't do that. Anyways.
That's fair.
Come on. He's just the grown man league.
That's my guy.
Mendoza hasn't done shit in the league. Anyways.
I was a Darnold believer before anybody else was.
And I was a Mendoza believer before anyone else. And I watched Darnold at San Clemente High School. Go Titans. Watched him on TV. Recruited. He played both ways, linebacker. Sick. He's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you just need that level of player. You need like a Cam Ward, like Bo Nix. Like this debate around like is Bo Nix a lead or not? It's like no, he's a starter in a Sean Payton system. Like in the modern NFL with an elite defense, like they're gonna win a ton of games. Like
they're good at. You don't have to.
Mac Jones and the Broncos, they're gonna do the same thing. I promise you. Like I think Bo Nix brings a little mobility element to their team that I think they really thrive on and lean into. And I think that's why Bo's finding a lot of success. He's played a lot of football. He's mobile, and he's clearly a top 32 quarterback in the world. Clearly, no doubt about it. So I don't know. I hate all this elite debate because I think it's dead. I think it's really dead. Like obviously Mahomes and Josh Allen and Lamar are different. The guys, but like Drake May, you're gonna put Drake May like eye test wise, you're gonna put Drake May in the Mahomes, Lamar, Josh Allen combo. He's good. He's definitely a star, definitely a top 32 guy, but you are surrounded with a great system, very disciplined defense. You see what the magic happens. And, then they get to the Super Bowl and play a team that just outmatches them in every single facet. So, yeah, there's my little rant on modern NFL and quarterback value.
Closing thoughts on the way the Raiders are building around Fernando Mendoza, because that's where this conversation started. Well, actually, this conversation started with Max Crosby not being traded anymore. But
closing thoughts on Raiders. They're doing good so far. I'm like what I'm seeing. I'm liking what I'm seeing from the LA, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders.
Insane.
The West Coast Raiders. Let's just call them the West Raiders.
Twitter is free, Brad. That's all I'm going to say. Like scrolling the timeline right now I need to get off before I get lost.
Dude, I can't read any of it. I have to quit Twitter.
I'm gonna fix it for you after this. Don't worry. Like I said, did I say this last week? I can't even remember. But our friends over at Kirkwood and Dunn dropped episode 100. It was a draft of the top 25 moments of the Curt Cignetti era. I feel like I crushed it. I was dialed. You can still vote for that. I think there's a day left on the poll. You can go check out Kirkwood and Dunn's page on X, on Twitter.
I voted for you unbiased.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. I appreciate that. I haven't voted off of any of the accounts, so honestly, I don't even know what the poll is at.
And I'm a hater. I wouldn't vote for you if I didn't agree.
I appreciate that, bro. Well, you're a master of the eye test. Like you can't get anything by you. You can't fool you. But I felt pretty good, to be honest, after like being gifted basically the number one pick. I was like, well, I can't.
You don't need to run through all of them, but let's run through your squad.
Yeah. Well, we did the draft to see who was going to pick first, and Tim got the number one pick to pick, and he picked third, which was stunning to me.
Know where I can find an IU football pod. Yeah, no, we were talking Raiders a lot, but yeah, we're back to IU football. There we go.
Yeah, we're locking into Indiana football. I promise, it's right here. But anyway, yeah. So I basically ended up with the first pick, and so obviously the best moment of the Curt Cignetti era, in my opinion, and in most people's opinion, is 4th and Mendoza, which is the 4th down touchdown run in the national championship game. So I feel like that was like no brainer, hands down, has to be the number one overall pick. So I felt pretty good about that one. But to get 2 and 3, like my second and third round picks were 2 and 4 on my board, I think, which were 3rd and Charlie, the Charlie Becker completion in the Big Ten championship game, and Mikal Kamara blocking the kick in the national championship game. Like at that point, I felt really, really good about the way my board was looking. And then it swung back around and just had to, top it off with the Mendoza resurrection.
Yeah, the Mendoza resurrection was one I don't think any of them had on their boards because I think that was actually a really strong moment. The fact that he got that round 5 was really took the cake for me. If you're an IU fan following closely this season, you saw Mendoza on the floor. Everyone got the sense of PTSD. It was too good to be true. This is IU to IU sports, kind of how it's been basically this century in every kind of facet. Whether you want to talk a little soccer, whether you want to talk a little baseball, whether you want to talk a little football, whether you want to talk a little basketball, like that's just how it's been. And just like unlucky, too good to be true type letdowns. Obviously, there's only one winner, and a lot of schools go through that. But it just felt like it was happening again, and then he walked back, and then Alberto just for one play, and he was right back in there, and then we're all good. And then we knew at that moment, I knew we were gonna win the game, no matter what. It was like this team storybook, like the storybook of this 2025 team is something I have never, ever seen again before. And I don't think we'll ever see it again. The moments, the backstory of the fact that they were all like underappreciated kids, like under recruited, got it done, band of brothers, like underdogs, like we talk about it over and over again, but like at this level, like it feels like it's like everything went right. And that's why I'm a little nervous. You know what I mean? Like, right? Like we're gonna go through this team, and I'm really excited. I think it's one of our best rosters ever, but it's like everything went right.
Well, I mean, that is a conversation that we can have, but I think there are. I don't know. We've talked about it. I think there was a lot of things that Mendoza was able to do on a football field that covered up a lot of the shortcomings of this Indiana, team in general. And then there were a lot of times where like take away the Penn State drive, like you probably lose that football game. Like say Mendoza gets hit a little bit higher and he's concussed, like he doesn't come back in the Ohio State game. So it's like it happened.
Centimeters away from 15-1.
That's like, guess what? A team hasn't gone 16-0 since Yale did it before the forward pass was invented in the late 1800s. So like
the fact that they got done 16-0 it makes it the greatest story in sports history. Like they go 15-1 just doesn't have as much chutzpah to it, you know? Doesn't have as much of that. You know?
I do.
What is that word, chutzpah? Came up. My vernacular is eclectic, but I don't know where these things come from, you know?
It's like oomph. That's what it means. D'Angelo Pons.
I know what it means, obviously.
D'Angelo Pons was named to the All-Combine defense team. He also made an appearance on Jim Rome. So if you didn't see D'Lo on Jim Rome, check it out.
You've definitely talked about this before because I told people to watch the Jim Everett Jim Rome video where
it was a different Jim Rome appearance. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm doubling these up because I go back and I look at my feed to make sure that I don't talk about things before the episode was released. So once I see like, okay, we're live, I know that that's the cutoff, and then I can from there scroll up and see what the current. That's kind of my process. It's a sneak peek into the process of the way the show goes. But yeah, so I think D'Angelo Pons.
Jim Rome. I think he's one of the best personalities. Like
Jim Rome is burning.
Oh, so good. I mean, just like the early shit, like the Jim Everett video is like one of the greatest things I've ever seen. He gets an NFL starting quarterback to fight him live on air. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it's one of my favorites. It's above the Duck fighting the Houston Cougar. It's above that video for me. It's above that. It is one of the more classic things I've ever seen. I don't think enough people know about it, so that's why I always bring it up.
Last week, Brad, Indiana football and Curt Cignetti received the Sachem or the Sachem Award? It's the highest honor in the state of Indiana. You can tell that we're not native Hoosiers. But the governor gave it to Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers, and there's this big trophy and the whole photo op, and obviously really prestigious award, and Curt Cignetti's cleaning up in the state of Indiana.
So is he going to get that award every time he wins the championship?
I think
that his last Sachem? Is that his last one? Is that the narrative? Like, let's debate. Let's first take it.
I don't think you need to win multiple, although I'm not sure how this is actually. No, this is a question. I need somebody from the state of Indiana to like educate us on the history of
Yeah,
this
I would love
award
that.
and
That'd be
how
awesome.
historic this is. Because I tried to do a little bit of research into it, and I basically hit a brick wall where I tried to. My goal is to be like, has any other football coach in the state of Indiana won this award? And it was inconclusive in my research, and so I need to go back and deep dive into it. But I think it's a massive deal to win it as a football coach. But yeah, anytime you get the highest honor in a state for doing something in a sporting sense, it's an unbelievably high honor. And I don't think you
How do you
need
spell this award?
multiple. SACHEM. We ruffled a few feathers this week, Brad, when we said that Indiana had the best wide receiver room in the country. It's something that we said. Yeah, we did. It was something we said on the podcast last week. We saw the I think it's Moniac or whatever, the automatic feeder, the whatever the football thrower thing that the team uses. And obviously, like, that's something we believe, that we have the best guys in the country. But yeah, there was a lot of Ohio State fans who were like, whoa, 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 at least in my comment section.
Yeah, Ohio State has the best receiver.
Receiver.
Singular. I'm taking our group over theirs. I'd rather have Marsh and Becker than just Jeremiah Smith. Add that with Shaz Preston and Tyler Morris. Tyler Morris, 2-time national champion, played in one for Michigan. Shaz Preston, former 4-star blue chip, another blue chip guy. As we add to the blue chips, I kind of have to track who the blue chip guys are on this.
It's not important in a sense of winning, but it's kind of it is.
I just want to track it for my own sense. I think I'm going to do it to the depth chart because I did a thing with the depth chart on our thing where I quoted Signetti recruits, like Signetti guys, as in guys that have been with Signetti 2+ years. There's only a few of them left on the roster. But anyways.
That can't be true. 2+ years? All the class of 2024 guys would be 2+ years. And the 2025 guys, technically. This would be year 2 for all of them.
Yeah, there's only guess how many are left?
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, I could just like Bones and Hardy and Landino and Tucker and
out of 85 scholarships, how many do you think they have?
That have been with Signetti for more than 2 years?
Yeah.
Does 2 years count?
More than 2 years. It's like redshirt sophomores and true juniors going into next year. Plus
12.
No, it's more. 16.
Oh, see? You're scaring me.
My whole point was that. Anyway, I was going to bring a point to that at some point where it's like, you know, how he brought in the James Madison 13. Now we have the IU 16 coming into this ball club this year. Now, that doesn't even include 2 specialists, Quinn Warren and Nico Radicic, to make it 18. But, you know, if you want to just go guys on offense, defense, 16 guys.
That's kind of, I mean, the theme of this, because we've been going through the rooms and we're going to continue going through the rooms. But the theme of this is like Indiana's bringing back a lot more, especially in the trenches, than people realize. There's a lot of experience coming back that's why it's like, I think we're going to be all right, Brett. Omar Cooper Jr.'s stock is still rising somehow, which is insane. It's funny the way that the NFL draft process works is like the dynasty football community kind of gets a hold of a prospect and he starts to rise. And then the combine reaffirms what all like the real NFL guys think. And then the dynasty community recalculates off of that. And so it's like a double like rocket ship for Omar Cooper. But like he the way people talk about this guy is I'd be stunned if he dropped into the 20s, but he's probably going to be a mid to late 20s pick, Brad.
Mid to late 20s. For Coop? Yeah. Yeah, I got Coop. I had Coop going 19 in my recent mock draft. He has a first-round grade for me. Mind you, I had Pons going 11, first corner off the board. So I'm
trying to take my bias out of it because I take him at 14. He could be the first receiver taken. You could talk me into it.
He could. I think he's He is definitely the one where you can't really, even if you pry, you can't really find a red flag on Omar Cooper at all. Was a 4-star recruit. He's been the guy. He's been a blue chip. Now he's a top pick. He puts in the work. He comes from the Signetti system. He can play inside, outside. He wins 50-50 balls. He can run slot routes. He can win contested catches very high. He catches them one-handed. He does spectacular stuff. He's very hard to tackle. He's got yak to him. He can make guys miss. He can shed tackles. Like, what? He can take end-arounds to the house.
It's like, what more do you want from a guy?
Probably gonna put up 25 reps on the bench. Like, that's first round. That's first round.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like.
To piggyback off of that, Brad, we got
first round, smells first round, is first round.
To piggyback off of that, we got Indiana's Pro Day participation list, or the expected participants. They are Cleo Benson, Kaylon Black, Devon Boykin, Jonathan Brady, Pat Coogan, Omar Cooper Jr., Stephen Daly, Aiden Fisher, Brendan Franke, Roman Hemby, Mikal Kamara, Mark Langston, Mitch McCarthy, Fernando Mendoza, Lou Moore, Riley Nowakowski, D'Angelo Pons, Dominique Ratcliffe, Elijah Surratt, Holden Stays, Solomon Van Horst, EJ Williams, and Kellen Wyatt.
Thank you for listing all the seniors in D'Angelo Pons. That was very helpful. And good job, Geezer. I appreciated that.
Just for the people who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. No, that's good. That wasn't for me. That was for I think
I was going to give you a chance to gather your thoughts.
I'd pay money to see Mark Langston run the 40. I would pay good money, actually. Can Mitch McCarthy get drafted? Maybe.
Why not?
What if he spazzes? What if he's booting things at the pro day? He goes round 7. Why not? That'd be pretty cool. I'm
excited to watch
about the specialists. I haven't really talked about Benson and Mikowski. I think those guys can make 90 mans if they really go crazy at if they go crazy. I mean, if they go crazy at a rookie minicamp. I mean, I just don't like, in my own personal evaluation of Benson and Mikowski, they're not very high. Oh my. Those guys couldn't get consistent reps as seniors. They were on the national champions, so but they weren't able to.
They got a chance to show up athletically and make a little noise.
They weren't able to get consistent tick. And I, as an evaluator, that's a red flag, right? I'm just telling you how the scouts are seeing it, right? Like, you can't get consistent reps at a school your senior year. Yeah, you're gonna get more benefit of the doubt being at the national champion as being at like UCLA, that's for sure. But doesn't look great, you know.
We'll see. Exciting pro day. I'm excited to watch Pons run, obviously, and then Surratt and all those guys. But
yeah, for sure.
Not football related, obviously. So I don't know if we're gonna get blasted in the chat again. But last week, Indiana women's basketball, another season ended, but they had an epic comeback against Nebraska. So I don't know if anybody saw that, but Austin Render had an awesome call, and yeah, that was good stuff. I'm excited for the future of Terry Morton's squad, but we can move forward. Back to Indiana football, Brad. Miles Price broke the Minnesota Vikings record for most kick return yards in a single season, which is significant when you think about the guys who have returned kicks for the Vikings. Cordell Patterson comes to mind. Percy Harvin comes to mind. The career or the single season leader is now former Indiana Hoosier Miles Price. So really, really cool accolade for Price, and obviously the sign of a really good season, really good rookie season for him.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's one of the 5 guys on the 2024 team that were able to get jobs in the NFL, which is really, really cool. And he's making a name for himself as a return guy. Same with Keyshawn Williams. Funny, we pumped out 2 kick returners in one team. Pretty cool. But yeah, all of a sudden becoming a wide receiver factory over at Indiana. Which but weren't we just talking about the receiver room and all the hubbub? What were people saying about our receiver room? What were people saying?
No, it was just Ohio State fans trying to push back, being like, wait a second, like, that's a ridiculous statement, even though they only have one guy who's proven it in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Listen, production over potential. Like, we'll keep doing our own thing and keep rocking.
Yeah, our guys have a ton of production. Like,
it's a terrifyingly productive room for the amount of talent they have. It's not just wishful thinking in that room, which is scary, scary stuff. Indiana football is for the kids, Brad. FTK, they had Bray Lynch. I think Drew Evans was there too. Gave a speech, talked about how like it was cool to see everybody showing out for the event, and yeah, it was really cool to see the guys out in the community supporting good causes, and yeah, shout out to the guys.
Shout out to the guys.
Brad, I can't believe we waited 45 minutes to get to this, but the biggest news of the week was you were excluded from one of the biggest conversations in college football, and nobody's heard from you since.
Oh my God.
So what is your official take about being left out of the college football roundtable at the White House?
My biggest peeve was like, I should have taken Adam Silver's spot, like straight up. Like, this is a guy that tried to literally ruin kids' lives and careers and their livelihoods by forcing them to go to the G League out of high school and literally derailing their development and their money earning potential and all that shit. And you want to tell me that guy's pro kids and pro collegiate sports? You're out of your goddamn mind. I don't know why he had any business being there. That was one of the two faces I recognized. I just remember seeing Adam Silver's bald head in the picture. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? This guy is not pro collegiate sports. That guy should not be anywhere near it, that conversation. And I would have loved – that wasn't even the reason why I was so mad. Like, I just think I should be there. Like, straight up. Like, I should be there. I think I'm a smart guy.
If you're going to gather the brightest minds in college sports and it doesn't start with
if you're not going to have the master of the eye test there, I don't know what you're doing. Figure it out. But yeah, get Adam Silver's ass out of there. Throw him out. Like, yeah, I love Nick Saban, what he was saying, and people were going at him for paying players. Like, at the end of the day, Nick Saban was very it's crazy. I'm calling Saban Signetti-esque. I caught myself. I'm not gonna do that. Saban is of the likes of like Coach K's, your Signettis, your Woodens, where it's all about actually creating, boys to men type coaching, right? Where I'm gonna, I'm coaching kids, and it's better than the NFL and going coaching pros because I like collegiate sports, and Nick Saban's always had a passion in doing that. I know he did go to the NFL, but that doesn't mean, doesn't mean they don't care. Pete Carroll's of the same way. Like, I would have loved to see Pete Carroll there. Pete Carroll would have been one of the best players, coaches of all. Pete Carroll would have been fantastic to have at that conference, and I wish they would have invited. See, like, that's why I should be there, because I have these ideas. Like, why is Pete Carroll not there? Why is Adam Silver there? Get Adam Silver out, put Pete Carroll in.
Yeah, I thought it was good that
Steve Lavin, get him in. Tom Crean. Where's Tom Crean?
Dolson was there, which was good. But no, I thought it was important that they had most of the right people in a room having the conversations, but it was just a stark reminder that you probably don't need to be in that location to have that conversation. You probably could have just met at a conference and like figured this one out with the right people. Like it doesn't, yes, the sport needs quote unquote fixing, or the levels of it need some adjusting, but like, it doesn't need this like congressional level of like, we need to change the entire structure. Like it's doing all right. Like, kids are starting to make money. Like, teams are now like as competitive as they've ever been. Like, it's a pretty healthy ecosystem. We got to adjust the calendar, so you can't just go and tamper people. Like, we have to put some guardrails in place to like move along with the ability to now pay players, and then the market's going to figure itself out. But like, the fact that they were having a conversation, great. The fact that everybody in that room, especially the people who are in charge of conferences, sitting in that room, like looking at the president of the United States being like, fix this problem for us. It's like, no, guys, like, you guys are responsible for the conferences you run. And no, it's not that hard. Get in a room, have a conversation, figure this one out. So
yeah, my biggest worry is like, how much did they actually get done there? Like,
nothing. That's my point. Like, that was exactly. They didn't do anything. Nothing happened.
Like, I would get shit done. Like, get me in that fucking.
Where were the Dartmouth kids who were suing for input? You know what I mean? Like,
I would ask the right questions. I wouldn't even be talking. I would just know which questions I should be asking right now at a given moment, and who to ask them to.
I think again, good thing that they were having the conversations with most of the right people, but it's just like, it's an easier fix than like trying to put this through the meat grinder that is the lawmaking system right now. Like, there's better ways to do this.
Yeah, it's a good start. I'll acknowledge that.
We'll start the conversation, and then like the people who are actually like paid to handle it. Like they have jobs for a reason. It's not that broken. The system's not that broken. I'm wearing like we just won the national championship. You know what I mean? Like, and we did it the right way. Like, it's not that broken.
I agree.
We'll move on. Mario Landino, Brad, the highest quote unquote boosted defensive lineman in EA College Football 26 this season, which still, I mean, is an unbelievable honor, first of all. But second of all, they still have the guy listed as Sam linebacker, so it doesn't even make sense. So I'm not sure how they can claim that he's the highest like rising defensive lineman when they don't even have him at the right position. So
yeah, they don't even have his position right. That's crazy.
Shout out to Mario Landino. Bryant Haynes is attending the hashtag Maddie Strong Coaches Clinic. I didn't see the date on that, but Coach Haynes tweeted it out. We retweeted it off the podcast account. So definitely check that out if there's some audio or video, or if you're in the, I'm not sure if it's, I think it's a coaches clinic. So I'm not sure if it's like open to the public type of deal, but, and then this was the other big one this week, Brad, is Indiana football was the only football program among the top selling programs for the NIL store for merch in the month of February. Why is that significant? February is a basketball month. There was 9 basketball programs on that list. There was 1 football program on the list. Indiana football is still moving merchandise. Now, like obviously, like I said, national champions. That's not the biggest surprise that they're still generating buzz a month after the national championship, especially this football program. But still, like when you're this deep into basketball season, to see them be the 4th highest selling program on that website is significant. And it means the interest being generated isn't just like these spur of the moment, like clickbait random, like we'll just bounce out, we'll bounce back in when it looks cool again. Like this was a profound moment that really impacted people.
Yeah.
Riveting. This was also a huge week for Alex.
It's really dumb. Just fix his position, you know?
Yeah. Oh, the Landino thing. Yeah.
What were you talking about?
The fact that Indiana football is one of the highest selling programs on Indiana NIL store in the month of February. But it's 9 other programs on that list, all basketball.
Fair enough. Which means that we can invest in basketball.
We're operating. Listen, we'll get there in a second. We'll get there in a second. Kind of. We're operating at a $10 million surplus as an athletic department. Like they're doing a lot of things right. Now, winning the national championship helps a lot, but they're doing a lot of things right on that front. So, while like, is it unrealistic to think that they're going to be the top spending team across multiple high level programs, right? Like they're not going to be number 1 in multiple, but can they be top 10 in a lot of them? Yeah. And is that going to be good enough? Probably. Yeah. We just talked about, you don't have to be the best. You just have to be good enough. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't think money in that sense is, at least in the short term, going to be an issue for any of Indiana's programs. Speaking of money not being an issue, this is a shout out to the Alex around the world who made $60 million guaranteed when Alec Pierce re-ups with the Indianapolis Colts. So shout out to Alex. Big time for Alex out there.
It makes it seem like you're saying shout out to Alex.
Alecs. There's multiple Alex. I'm developing a small network. It's like Alec Lashley, and there's a dude on Ravens Twitter who loves Omar Cooper Jr. And there's a couple of different Alex on Indiana Twitter that we've got a little community. Not quite like the Steve meetup, right, or whatever those memes are, but maybe we get like a mini version of that going. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's more of us than you think. The Bison drop this week, Brad, hits home, close to home for you specifically. Full-blown Rose Bowl edition this week. The social drop is a game-used patch or a game-worn patch from the Rose Bowl, which is unbelievably sick. But there's a bunch of Kurt Cignetti signed stuff. If you're not familiar with the Bison drop site, go check it out. The auctions they're doing, the things they're giving away. Unbelievably cool. And the social drops, again, is one of the cooler things going on the internet right now. So if you can beat mine, because I'm cooking one up, because that patch is the Rose Bowl patch, because all the Rose Bowl merch is insane.
I mean, that logo is so sick, dude.
It's so sick.
So dread.
So yeah, get on Bison drops. Participate in the social drops too. It's good stuff.
No bias. My favorite logo ever. So
no, I agree. And it's like, dude, the Nick Marsh was wearing Rose Bowl gear and the Antoine Randall L video from last week, and it's just like the white shirt with like just the rose in the middle of it. It's just they're really. I'm with you. There is no better logo in sports, and like I think Bray Lynch like wears the Rose Bowl beanie around all the time or whatever. But like if I had any of that gear, like sorry Peach Bowl, sorry College Football National Championship, like it's not even close. It's not even close. Here's the other part. Here's the other area where you received a little pushback this week, Brad. You listed in Indiana's ideal starting lineup in a counter to something Sleeper Football put out. You talked about it honestly on the show last week that it was going to be Lee Beebe as your starter. You went live with the tweet. A lot of Kobe Martin fans out there in the Indiana fan base. One particularly,
a lot of Turbo fans too.
Yeah, some Turbo fans as well. So I'll give you another opportunity because we did talk about the running back room last week. One, to defend your Lee Beebe point, but then two, to put in front of you that obviously it comes out this week that Kobe Martin is an Indiana breakout candidate from Pro Football Focus, from ESPN. He was, I think Big Ten Huddle put out a graphic with the PFF stuff. Like, so he's generating some buzz outside of the Indiana fan base as well. No, I know.
Kobe Martin gets more carries than Lee Beebe. That's good for us. That means that we have a really good running back room. We have 3 really good running backs. My whole take was I put Lee Beebe as the starter because historically, because I've been following this shit for a while, Cignetti leans on more veteran guys with more production, guys that have been in the pro, been his guys. Lee Beebe's almost one of his guys, has been there too. This is going into his second year with SIG. Kobe Martin is very talented and hasn't really shown much production besides like garbage time. So it's really hard to like put him one. And obviously for the sake of that exercise, like I would have loved to just put all 3 of them right there, but it wouldn't make sense. I know I did the Morris and Preston one where I had both of them there as wide receiver 3, but I just couldn't do that for all 3 of them at the running back spot. Ideally, if I were to change it, I would have gone Lee Beebe, Turbo Richard, because Turbo Richard was the leading rusher at Boston College. So, and Lee Beebe was the leading rusher at UAB before he came to Indiana. And he's a 5th-year senior. Turbo is a true junior, and Kobe Martin is also a year 3 sophomore. So, like those 3 are ready to go. It's going to be one of the more as of right now, probably one of the better running back rooms I can think of off the top of my head. But obviously, that's because I follow this team so closely. I'm cautious to call them best running back room in the country because I'm sure there's a lot of dogs out there, and I'm sure people have it. But like, it's hard to imagine someone has the same level of depth that we do, given all the portal stuff that's been happening. You would have to think it's somewhere of the blue bloods, the Ohio States, the teams bringing in really good recruiting classes year in, year out. Actually, I already know who the best running back room in the country is, and it's one of our rivals in the Big Ten, one of our big rivals, big ones, historic Big Ten rivalry that we have. Oregon. It's a one-sided rivalry. We've swept them since they came into our conference, but it is a big rivalry.
I mean, I guess rival is the right way to put it. It's competitive. Friendly, competitive.
Yeah, I would say Davison and De'Aaron Hill, those guys coming back, like that's big for them. They're going to be really strong at that. I master the eye test. That is the most proven duo together in that system. Like, we'll see how they do post Will Stein. We'll see. Losing a lot of that O-line, we'll see. But for me, that's like the best O-line, the running back room going into this year, because you have to go off past production. Now, if we're going to debate, try to predict the future, like, I like where we're at. Kobe Martin could break out. Turbo can take another step and leave Lee Beebe in more of a limited role, which I think would be a great thing. Like, we shouldn't be reliant on a 5th-year power back coming off an ACL injury. We should be spreading the wealth. And we historically do split carries anyway, so I don't really understand what the big hubbub was about. It's almost like they're talking in a sense that like Turbo Richard's going to be the guy. and Kobe Martin's like gonna be the guy. It's like none of them are gonna be the guy. Like they're all the guys. Like they're all gonna play. They're all gonna play a
The
part
Ninja Turtles, fellas. Like,
in
is
this
everyone
thing. Like,
eats.
they split the carries. Like they wanted to go 3-headed monster last year. Lee Beebe gets hurt. They go 2. Now they're gonna try to do it again. Lee Beebe, Martin, and Turbo Richard. That's a big reason why Malik Brown isn't a Hoosier. Guy that was on campus went to Texas. By the way, Texas has a really strong group now. I'm thinking about Brown and Hollywood Smothers, another good group. Yeah, I like our group. All 3 of those guys are going to be big parts of this offense. And I could care less who's actually the guy. And I could even care less about being right. Like saying like, yeah, long term, like Kobe Martin and Turbo Richard are probably going to have better careers than Lee Beebe. Going into 2025, Lee Beebe's the guy because he's a redshirt senior. That's all I was saying. Maybe we're missing the ball.
No, I get it. I wanted to give. I saw you think, going back and forth. I wanted to give.
I think Martin's going to be the best out of all 3 of them long term, but I'm taking Lee Beebe as my guy to start the year. He's the 5th-year senior. He's holds on to the ball. He's a good player, and yeah, when we were going up against Ohio State, it was really nice to have a 23-year-old toting the rock. That's all I'll say. It was really nice to have that, as opposed to like a 21-year-old, like a younger Roman Martin. It was nice to have that age gap that Kalen Black had comparatively to the other guys on the field. It was nice to have for sure.
You got no complaints from me, Brad.
Oh, yeah.
Pat Coogan is doing, I should have looped this in with Pro Day, but Pat Coogan is doing reps for rare diseases at Pro Day. Shout out to Cougs. Always doing good things in the community. Connor Enright won the Big 12, Jesus Christ, Big 10 Sportsmanship Award honoree for Indiana, I guess. So shout out to Connor Enright. And then Hoosier Commish was talking about the Rose Bowl this week, obviously given the Bison drop stuff. And so just have to remind people that 23.9 million people watched Indiana stomp Alabama in the Rose Bowl.
Love that. You got to remind them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Got to let them know.
All right, Brad. We started breaking down some of the rooms last week. I cut you off a little bit, but I want to go a little bit deeper into this roster. So I'll give you a choice. Do you want to start with the tight ends or the offensive line? Because I actually know what I'm taking away the choice. We're starting with the tight ends because I want to end with the trenches because I think that this team has the ability to. For whatever reason, people think the outside public believes that Indiana lost a lot in the trenches, and I don't think they really realize how much production that they're bringing back. So let's start with the tight ends.
Yeah. First off, I did some new things as I'm going to continue these roster previews. And I kind of want to rewind it to quarterbacks, running backs, skill guys, which tight ends are included in that, but we haven't done them yet because they're a very interesting group. But back to quarterbacks, running backs, and receivers. I've been making note of guys that have been in the Signetti program for 2 years or around it, wink, wink, Tyler Cherry, and guys that are also blue chip recruits because we only had 7 last year and we won the national title. So I think keeping track of that will be fun. I think would give us a good perspective, a good learning opportunity as we try to all become masters of the eye test, which is why I'm the master, because I understand that being a student of the eye test, that we are always learning and we're always trying to get better and we learn things and we're not stuck in our old ways and we're not in this I'm always right mentality. That's not what it's all about, guys. It's not about being right. It's about learning and understanding. All right. Anyways, man, I was really being philosophical down to people a little bit there. But yeah, quarterback room. We have one guy who is either a blue chip or a Signetti guy, and he's both. He's Tyler Cherry's been in the program for 2 years. He's a redshirt freshman. Don't let that fool you. He was off roster last year around the program, basically as a coach, which is really helpful for him to kind of learn about around Chandler Whitmer. And he's also a blue chip guy, which is great to think about. Running backs, I still got to look up if Turbo Richard was a blue chip guy, which I doubt he was. But only one guy has been in the program for 2 years in the running back room. Can you guess who that is?
Kobe Martin.
There you go. Bang. Bingo. Kobe Martin. the other guy who's been in it for 3 years. And Turbo is not a composite blue chip recruit, even though the blue chips are so like there's so many guys that just miss the blue chip mark by so little, but we'll just track it, just to see, what's going on. It doesn't matter in a macro sense, it matters in a micro sense, or in a macro sense. Doesn't matter in a micro sense, matters in a macro sense, right? Because as we get more blue chips and more guys beat out those blue chips, it means we have really good players. Yes, that's how it works. There we go. We acknowledge that. Cool. And in the receiver room, we have 2 blue chips, Nick Marsh and Shaz Preston, blue chip guys, and then one guy who's been in the system for 2 years, and that is Charlie Becker from Nashville, Tennessee. So that's a really strong room. And you got 2 blue chips matched with the guys who've been in the Cincinnati system for 2 years. 3 of those guys are going to be really good. Tyler Morris might also be a blue chip, which is a big reason why I have this.
Well, it's also funny, Brad, 2 of the guys you mentioned as being in the program for longer than 2 years are both Tom Allen guys. And Charlie Becker and Kobe Martin.
Yeah, but they're Cignetti guys now.
They're full-blown Cignetti guys, but they were recruited.
Like, obviously, yes, players develop players, but Cignetti provides coaches find success because they provide an environment where that can thrive. Right?
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying, like, I do like to point that out, that those guys were coming to Indiana before. Like, Cignetti kept them in the program, and obviously, the longer you spend with Cignetti, the more of a Cignetti guy you become. But
somehow Davion Chandler not a blue chip guy by this measurable, even though we're very, very high on him.
He was a fringe 4-star. That's why it doesn't matter.
4-star. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He was a high-end 3-star, an 88 rating. You need a composite 89.89 technically based on the rating, but you need an 89 plus to be considered a blue chip on the 24/7 composite. That's my source. That's what I'm going off of because they acquired Scott.com, which is my OG evaluating tool. So I use them over on 3. Call me old school. All right, tight ends. A young group. No one has been in this program has been in the Cignetti program for 2 years because they have no one that has been playing college for 2 years. They have 3 guys going into year 2 and 3 guys going into year 3. This is by far the most intriguing because they are the youngest program by far in a system that, like I said before, historically relies on veteran players, guys that have played a lot of football. They're taking a swing with the amount of arsenal they have in the receiver core. Is kind of my theory on this, where they can go 4-11, where they can go 10 personnel, 4 wide, and kind of spread it out, which they might do with Hoover. Like they might go a little air raid next year, go a little like spread zone. Might be a new look just based on the personnel that I'm seeing, but they're very versatile on both sides of the ball. They have a lot of different schemes they can do. It just depends on what direction they're going to go for this particular team, that's what makes this coaching staff so dangerous, right? And not saying these tight ends won't have large roles. It's just I don't know if it's going to be, when they go 4 wide, I don't think it's going to be Nowakowski out there running or being the 4th option. Like I just don't think that's how they're going to do it. I think they're going to really leverage the receivers that they have, and these tight ends are still going to bring a big part because they love to run the ball. They love to, they're going to have to go heavy package to have at least 2 or 3 tight ends. Like they'd have Bamba, Stays, and Nowakowski out there at once and in short yard situations to pound the rocks. It's all about replacing those 3 in those situations. And I guess we'll break down to see who those guys can be because, to be honest, it is a wide open room. A lot of people are saying Brock Schott. He is one of 2 blue chip guys in this room, which makes it very exciting. They're overarching. They're very young, but they're also, this is the most athletic tight end room they've had. This is the most tight end body friendly group that they've had. Less Nowakowski, more like Horton's, Horton plus, like they're all better athletes than Horton was, around the same size, but just like better athletes coming out in the school. And we can break down one by one. So first off, there's one guy who's not even on campus yet, PJ McFarland. He's not going to be in spring, so we'll bypass him until the fall. So they're going to have 5 guys going into it. I don't know how much I can say about the injuries.
There's some guys. Cignetti said there's like Gibbs isn't going to be available in the spring. Elmore isn't available in the spring either. I think that was from Cignetti.
All right, thanks for setting me up. Perfect. So we bring in two true freshmen coming in, Trevor Gibbs and Parker Elmore. The two true freshmen sounds like they're a little hurt going into it. Parker Elmore is a blue chip recruit. He came in listed at 6'4", 226. Feels like weight-wise, he's not quite there yet. Trevor Gibbs comes in at 6'2", 232. Very Nowakowski-like. Very a guy who I watched on film and liked a ton. I was like, this guy's a crazy good athlete. He can play edge. He can play linebacker. He can play tight end at the next level. It's just, what is Cignetti going to do with this freak of nature athlete that they got back in their backyard of Indiana, which is kind of crazy. Like, he was right there. Baby. He was sitting right there. Number 39, Trevor Gibbs. I have him highlighted. I have him on my third deep right now. I have him ahead of Blake Thierry just because Blake Thierry's weight has not been updated yet. He's still at 224. So still waiting to kind of see where Blake Thierry, who another guy we're very high on athletically, probably one of the better freaks on this team, trying to see how he's able to grow into the weight. Is he able to put on weight like that and be able to grow into it, stay as fast, stay as nimble, stay as flexible, and figure it out? What do you have? Keezer's hand is raised. Do you have intel on Thierry's weight? Because until I see that, I just can't move him up. But I'm very high on him. If I hear he's 240, I'm moving him first string.
No, I don't. I don't have intel on Thierry's weight. What I do have is a video of Josh Hoover throwing to what looks like Blake Thierry.
That was Blake Thierry. He was blonde, very blonde kid, Blake Thierry.
And he looks big.
As blonde as I was. He's blonder than I was as a freshman, damn near.
He looked big.
Crazy.
Now, so I have no idea what his weight was, and I didn't do the whole zoom in on the video, look at the kid's forearms type deal to see how big he was, but he was working with Hoover, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But no, I'm with you. So here's my other question for you, because like you said, the room is unbelievably talented. And hold on, wait, I cut you off first. Finish the room.
In my second string line, I have Andrew Barker, number 85, 6'4", 246, redshirt freshman, has not seen the field, but he comes in at a weight that is desirable for the position. He's a guy that was a three-star guy, was not, he was not as highly rated as a Blake Thierry, but he's there weight-wise. It means he's ready now. He can go in there and be serviceable, right, and block in the run game and catch and be a receiver. He played in a veer offense, so he didn't really see the ball as a receiving threat. So he's a blocker. Like, that's a guy who we will see on the field next year, no doubt about it. Will he be a featured receiving weapon? Remains to be seen. I'm just not sure about it. But I think we see a lot of number 85 on the field next year. Blocking wise, like, he comes in, he can fill that Bamba role right away. And I think that's awesome because he's a much better recruit than Bamba was coming out. He's a lot younger than Bamba was last year. And if he could be out at that level as a redshirt freshman, that's all we can really ask for when it comes to individual development trajectory, right? I think the most exciting one, and the one I have in my first string line, which is probably what a lot of people have, I don't have him bolded because he's not a starter. Like, he's not a returning starter. He's never started a game. He played 3 games. He still kept his redshirt status, but he did play a little bit for the Canes last year. He's the second blue chip guy on this line, redshirt freshman Brock Schott. He's listed at 6'3", 243.
He's dealing with his shoulder too. He's not around for spring.
Yeah, and he is a little hurt as well. So a lot of opportunity for these guys.
For Thierry and Barker.
When it comes to Barker and Thierry to really make a name for themselves, and they're going to get a lot of 1 and 2 snaps, and they're going to have a leg up on this guy. Like, once I heard Schott was hurt, like, they got a leg up on him in spring. They just do. How much of that natural talent Schott has over them, in quotes, like, how much is that going to pan out over them? But Schott also comes in with the weight ready to play. He's ready to go. So once he's healthy, he's good to go. So, like, who's going to be those featured guys? I'm going to lean on Thierry, Gibbs, Barker, and Schott long term. I just don't know what order it's going to be. I would lean Schott and Barker just because the weight-wise they're there. And then Thierry is a redshirt freshman. So as long as he can get that weight caught up to the other guys, like, he should be a featured guy. And he's probably has the most receiving upside out of all of them. But I think Schott is the most well-rounded right now. But we'll see. Like, he has the benefit of the doubt. He's a receiving guy. He's a blue chip guy. He's played in college football. Like, he's played in the games. Like, he is. I think that says a lot as a true freshman. You ever get into a Miami game and catch a couple balls. He's probably a pretty good player. So an exciting room, a very athletic room, but they're just very young. We don't know a whole lot about them, but I think we could see a lot of 84, 39, 85, and 88 out there. And 88's Brock Shaw. I didn't call his number out, but as of right now, these numbers might change. But Brock Shaw,
Yeah,
those
they
guys
already changed. We
Yeah,
already
exactly.
saw Nick.
What do you think? What do you think of this tight end room vibe check?
No, I'm with you. I think it sometimes really is that simple. Like you look at the room and the one guy that has production, you probably give him the lead. But it's like if Thierry is 245, 250, the type of athlete that we've been talking about him being for the last couple of years, like he was just kind of hidden up in like Wisconsin somewhere, like doing his thing, like wrestling and doing track and playing football and all that good stuff. Like the dude is unbelievably athletic. And I think all those guys in that room are. And so I don't know. My question for you
It's
was
a very athletic room, and a lot of them have NFL upside, like a ton of
my
them.
question for you was going to be because I believe, and I could be wrong. I got to consult Jamie Jordan's scholarship chart, but I think that we have a scholarship open. So I posed this last week, and I couldn't have got a more disgusted response from you. But do you think this is an instance where we could see something happen with the quote unquote shadow portal?
I think they would have had him already. I mean, the one that comes to
The post
mind,
it's going to be a post spring thing. Spring hasn't even happened yet.
the one move that I was surprised about was like I wasn't surprised we picked up any of the guys we did. I was surprised we didn't go after a potential boomerang, and Brody Foley, who had a great year at Tulsa, was their main number one receiver on that Tulsa team. And he's going to be a redshirt senior this year. He was on that 2024 team, transferred out to Tulsa. He's going to be at Louisville next year as their featured tight end.
Yeah, they
So
like
I was
to
surprised
they
why
like
we didn't
to
make a
look at
move there.
Indiana's.
And obviously,
They
they know more than we do, and they know the kid, and I don't. So that was one thing that, like, why didn't they bring in a senior tight end was something I think raised some eyebrows. But I think you see the strength in that wide receiver room and the fact that we might spread it out a good bit, considering we have all that talent. It's like if we go 11 personnel the whole time, we don't have enough. We have too many receivers to make that happen. So we're gonna have to go 10 a lot and go 4 wide. And yeah, I'm excited for this group, but I think I don't think it's as concerning when you really break down the receivers and how strong they are in that game. But I think a lot of these guys, like a Barker, Shot, Gibbs, like right away, like if those are your guys coming up on third and short goal line package, I think we're in a good spot right now, even though they're freshmen. I think those guys are ready to go right now. Gibbs is a crazy athlete. He can fill that like H-back, Noah Kowski. He can handle the ball. Like this Gibbs guy, I'm telling you, I watched him on film. He moves a little different. He was my biggest eyebrow raiser when I went through all the tape on this freshman class. Gibbs I like a lot.
Master of the eye test is a Gibbs guy. Let's go to the offensive line, Brad. We got a question from Bruce Callum who asked, who do we think will be the best player on the offensive line and the defensive line? We'll hold the defensive line for now. I don't think it's any question that Carter Smith's going to be the best player on this offensive line. So I'll remove Carter Smith from it. Let's look at the rest of the room. We'll go through the room, and then I'll ask you to answer the question. But let's talk about the offensive line.
All right. Offensive line, we have 13 scholarship guys coming in this year. 5 of them have been in the program for 2 years, which I think is really exciting. They bring in 5 returning starters, as in guys that have played a lot of football and were starters last year, either at Indiana or where they were before. And I think that's awesome. I think this O-line at the top is going to be – I think I'll just start there. The O-line at the top is going to be – this is the best 5 we have coming into a season. It's the most solid 5. There's no debates. There's no who's going to play where, who's gonna fit in. Like maybe the only question really is who's playing. Or is Brunner playing right tackle or Ajani? Then the other one's playing right guard. Like that's really the only thing. The left side of the line is completely solved with Smith at left tackle, Drew Evans at left guard, and Bray Lynch likely going at center because he had to step in when Coogan knocked off his helmet. So I think that cleared the air. Like, hey, Lynch is playing center next year. And then right now I have Brunner at right guard, and then I have the Rose Bowl. But he was listed at 6'7", 315, big guard. That's a tackle body. But he's a natural guard. Ajani started at right tackle in the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl. I think we stick with him there. And I think that's the group going into it. And for me, coming off two straight Joe Moore Award nominations finalists, right? This is the best group yet, and this team should be this group should be a shoo-in for the Joe Moore Award, which should give you a lot of hype because that's the engine that's going to keep this offense humming. And if this is we already went through all the skill guys that we have and all the talent, all the athleticism, it matches what we had last year. We went up in the offensive line for sure. Just bringing back 4 starters, being able to just plug in Joe Brunner right there, and then we're off to the races. I think a key guy to call out would be the other 5th guy who's been in the Signade program for 5 years would be Austin Leibfried. 6'6", 306, redshirt sophomore. He's going to be the 6th O lineman. He brings a lot of versatility. He's played guard. He's played tackle in garbage time for this ball club. I think it doesn't matter who goes down. I think he's stepping in whether it's even center. I think there's a good versatility element to Leibfried, which once again makes this O-line group very, very strong. Behind this, it's a lot of question marks, a lot of year 2, year 1 guys, just in that sense, right? Not saying we're very high on Bob Bosta and his ability to evaluate talent. Ajani, who is now a returning starter, starting right tackle as a redshirt sophomore. He was a redshirt freshman last year. And, I'm going to run through them. Matt Merrick, I have at left guard, 6'3", 308, redshirt freshman. Evan Parker, number 66, 6'4", 308, redshirt freshman. And then Baylor Wilkin, 6'5", 290, redshirt freshman. That fills out the 2 deep if I included Jack Greer, who's a walk-on. But that fills out the 2 deep. Leibfried and those 3 redshirt freshmen are going to fill that out. And exciting group. I think there's a lot to like. We like how nasty Baylor Wilkin is. I think Merrick is literally a mold of Drew Evans in a lot of senses. And, they're all up. Every single guy on this group, including the true freshmen, are 300 plus, which is awesome. So awesome. Besides, actually, Baylor Wilkins listed at 290, but he's very athletic. He's tackle body. He can play a little lighter. He's a very strong guy. Exciting group, and I think when called upon, this group should be ready. Considering the development of Ajani, you should feel confident if needed to be called upon. They're ready to go. Let's hope that's not the case because the starting group plus Leibfried is a fantastic 6 group of O linemen that we have coming back. And there's a big reason why Evan Lawrence had to go to San Diego State and get a starting job because it's man, do I want to be the 7th guy here? I don't know if I want to. I'd rather start somewhere and potentially come back. Whereas these 6 feels like they're going to have huge roles this upcoming year. And obviously these redshirt freshmen are chomping at the bit too. And then we bring in 4 true freshmen as well. Kenton Mondu is not on campus yet. He's listed 6'7", 315. I have him at right tackle. He looks the part as well. CJ Skiffers, number 60, 6'5", 310, true freshman out of Indiana. Sam Sampson, number 75, 6'3", 311, true freshman out of Wisconsin. And then Benjamin Novak, number 71, 6'6", 320. I have him at left tackle as a true freshman. So the true freshmen fill out that 3rd deep, but probably going to be redshirt years for them. But, yeah, super strong O-line group. I think we just got to go back to the starters at this point.
Can I ask you a different question?
Yeah, that Merrick, Parker group and Wilkin, the Merrick, Parker, and Wilkin group, that their development's going to be the biggest key in spring for me.
So in your mind, it's an absolute lock that because Carter Smith obviously is in the sling and he's dealing with the shoulder issue. He's going to be ready for the start of the season, but he's obviously not going to be ready for spring ball. No doubt in your mind, it's Austin Leibfried lining up at left tackle. Or can I pose a hypothetical?
He's at left. I think he plays left tackle in the spring.
Can I pose a hypothetical for you based on perceived draft speculation? This isn't something that I believe though. Joe Brunner has played, I believe, his entire career at left tackle. Carter Smith, who was literally Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year at left tackle, didn't have the draft buzz he wanted. And there was even some sort of chatter that, I heard potentially center might even be a move for him, which would be kind of crazy. Scale of 1 to 100, like how likely is it that they actually brought in Brunner to play left tackle and that it's going to be Carter, not Bray, playing center?
Brunner has played every single snap at Wisconsin, every single start at Wisconsin at left guard.
Left guard.
Which is Drew Evans' position.
Oh, so then
I don't see them taking that. I see him moving to right guard. If not, maybe right tackle. He does have, as a guard with that body, that can play as a right tackle in college, but we have a Johnny there. He started the Bama game and the Oregon game in the playoffs at those spots, which are why
I'm not saying that's what I would do.
That lightning come on me right now. Did you see that? Light flashed at me. It was lightning. It's crazy. But yeah, I think Austin Liebfried comes in and slots into that left tackle spot. That's not what I was expecting you were going to ask me, by the way. I was pretty surprised. Where are you hearing this? Him playing center? I think
No. I'm not hearing that from it. I'm not like reading that from like this is coming from Indiana's camp. I'm saying there was some like weird draft buzz back before he committed to coming back. That was like he might have a better shot as a center, which I was like, that's strange. He's really Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. So I figured I'd bring it up to you, see what you thought.
Yeah. You want to hear my take? I'm not the biggest O-line guy, but you know how I'd always tell you like every single recruit that we bring in, it was a left tackle in high school, like on the O-line, which is true. They all are. And maybe I was a little wrong about the Ajani making regard. He ends up being a right tackle. But a lot of versatility is a big theme of this offensive line with the Bostad group. And that's awesome, by the way. That's so cool. A lot of these guys can play a lot of different positions, especially like when you talk Bray Lynch, Ajani, Brunner, Liebfried, like those are versatile guys. I think Evans and Smith are kind of pigeonholed in those spots. But when it comes to the NFL, most O-linemen were also tackles in college. It kind of works the same way. Centers were usually centers. That's one thing that rings true. But usually, there's a lot of guards in the NFL that were tackles. There's more guards that were guards, but plenty of tackles in college end up being and slotted in. And you're the best offensive lineman on your team. You can play guard on the 49ers. Like, go ahead. That type of deal. So, same philosophy there. Just not as, obviously not as severe.
I like it. Yeah. I think, like you said, there's literally 4 or 5 starters from this national championship team are coming back. If you're going to count Ajani like we do as starters, Brunner played his entire career at Wisconsin. Like, if you don't want to call him a starter at Indiana, fine. But he's got to be, if he's not the most productive returning lineman in the country, he's up there. Like, there was the stat a couple weeks ago that like Indiana is returning like the 8th most production in the country, I think, or whatever their number was. And it's like, they're very, very, very experienced on the offensive side of the ball on the line, like especially for the Kurt Cignetti, Bob Bostad system, which is very encouraging for like with kind of where we started, where it's like 16-0 last year makes you a little nervous about how it's going to fall this year. It's like we have the same offensive line that took us there. They're just all a year older and more experienced.
Oh, I have an update.
Yeah.
Joe Brunner, blue chip guy.
Hey,
4-star in high school.
There you go.
How about that? That matters. Who is the best offensive lineman besides Carter Smith on this team? I mean, Drew Evans been nails, man. Definitely not Bray Lynch. Come on. Bray Lynch's my guy. National champ. Tom Allen guy. I love Bray Lynch. Not the best. He's not the best on our O-line. He's a starter. It's not like I'm disrespecting him here. I would say right now it's probably Drew Evans, but long term it's definitely going to be Ajani. That guy's going to be an NFL player. He's going to be.
He was a me eye test.
That's an NFL guard.
Ajani is a me eye test. That's why I'm climbing up the eye test. I'm not quite master of the eye test yet, but it's getting
Ajani, 6'4", 308, playing Big Ten right tackle. That's an NFL right guard if I've ever seen one in my life, and he's gonna be damn good at it too. Super excited for his career. He's gonna have a long NFL career, and having him at right tackle, having him back potentially for 2 more years, hopefully, fingers crossed. Because considering the guard projection, like, good, massive for this team to have him. Considering 4 of this starting group are gone next year. It's the last ride for the Carter Smith, the Drew Evans, Bray Lynch crew. Which, by the way, like, don't get enough credit there for being like 3-year starters in this Signetti era. I think they're the only guys that have started 3 years here.
Hardy, Farrell.
He didn't really start. I wouldn't have called Hardy a starter in 2024.
Sig called him a starter.
Farrell. I would say Farrell. So those 3 and Farrell, like, those guys seem like.
Landino.
He wasn't a starter in 2024. He wasn't. It was Carpenter and CJ West.
That's fair. Yeah, it's impressive.
It is very impressive. And Hardy wasn't I guess Hardy was the 3rd linebacker, but we did start 2. It was Walker and Fisher.
No, we were football in 4-2-5. Like, we weren't playing a ton of.
We weren't.
But he was on the field.
We didn't have the versatility because we had a true freshman 2-star as our 3rd linebacker. That's a diss. Or Hardy's damn good. He's the best player on our team. So,
let's move over to the defensive line, Brad, because you could argue this might be, as a collective, and we can split the defensive tackles and the defensive ends, or we can kind of just talk about them all together, which I think might be a little bit more effective. But this might be, as a collective, the best unit on the team.
Yeah, it's definitely the most scholarship guys in a group. So it's the biggest group we got to go through. They got 19 scholarship D linemen this year. All
right, we'll split it. Let's talk about pick a room.
11 of them are year 1, year 2 guys. So they have 8 upperclassmen, as in redshirt sophomore plus, in this room. Very young, very which is a lot of room for opportunity because I have a redshirt freshman in my 2 deep, and it's a guy who we've always been very high on, who was not a blue chip recruit, by the way. Let me double check on that.
I think that probably the best way to attack the room as a whole is probably to quickly highlight those 11 underclassmen and then dive into who's the upperclassmen who are really going to make a significant impact on the field this year.
You want to start with the lower groups? Okay. Yeah. So in the weightings of the rooms, we brought in 5 true freshmen. Oh, no, 6. 6 true freshmen. Brought in DNs, Ronell Johnson, 6'3", 269 from Missouri. Number 42, Cavante Hugan, 6'1", 227. So he's a little light, but he is a blue chip guy. So, like, long term, like, this guy, put some weight on him. We're going to be looking really good with Cavante Hugan, Scarface Hugan. 4 D tackles. Rodney White comes in at 6'1", 294. The heaviest, by far the most ready body in terms of initial spring weigh-in. Gabe Hill, a blue chip guy, 6'1", 280, true freshman, number 92. Blake Smythe, number 91, 6'2", 281. And then another blue chip guy, Cam McAney, 6'1", 274. A little bit of a lighter nose, a little Tyreek Tucker-esque body type coming in as a blue chip guy at IMG, number 98. I have him in the wings as well. These guys are all in the 4, 5 deep, basically. Very strong group. Very, 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 very strong freshman class. Just don't really expect to see them. Like, there's just so much ahead of them, and we'll kind of dive more into that. I think the guys I'm most excited about would be kind of seeing what Cavante Hugan's able to do at that lightweight. I think maybe a Rodney White or a Gabe Hill can really make some noise and push for some PT as true freshmen. Given the opportunity, we'll see what that looks like. I think there's a lot of excitement around those 2. And then, just the overall development of, McGaney, Smythe, I like Ronell Johnson brings a lot coming in at 269. He is a D end. So coming in at that weight, he seems like a guy who can push people right away. He came in he's not a blue chip, but he's definitely a friend. He was 4-star on Rivals. Like he is a fringe 3-4-star guy, not fitting my definition of a blue chip, but definitely has the potential to be of high caliber Big Ten problem, star player type. Some other redshirt freshmen they have in the weightings, Tristan Abram, who we're really high on. He's 228, a little light. Jervius Hall, a redshirt freshman, 6'2", 306. And then Keyshawn Calhoun, I'm really high on too, very similar to Ronell Johnson, 6'2", 267, big D end, number 41. And then there's a couple guys who I think can contribute on this team from this redshirt freshman group right away. And they did play like solid minutes or a solid tick at times. They saw the field, but they kept their redshirt freshman status. That would be number 99, Tyrone Burris, 6'4", 236. And number 94, Kyler Garcia, 6'4", 291, redshirt freshman. He comes in as on my 2D. I think this guy is going to be producing right away. I think he has the lead for me. Obviously, like with this open spot that Kyler Garcia has, that's where it comes up with the Jervius Hall, Gabe Hill, Rodney White, maybe Keyshawn Calhoun, Ronald Johnson can fit in that rotation somehow. Tyrone Burris, but Kyler Garcia kind of fits in right there as kind of that fourth D tackle in this group that I think could be really high on. And then one guy I kind of skipped was Clinton Clark, who's more of a specialist guy. Like he's kind of a guy who's just on all the special teams. He can play a little. He's 6'1", 227. He's a stud, but he can probably move to linebacker if needed to be. Like he's one of the more versatile guys we have on our team. He's more of another Tom Allen going into year 3.
He's a football player, Brad.
Yeah, he's going into year 3 in the program. Really good football player. Brings a lot to the table. Came in as a linebacker. He's moved to D-line. There's a lot of versatility to Quentin Clark. And just excited to see him potentially even push for some playing time. So it's like got Clark, Burris, Hill, White, Calhoun, Ronell Johnson, Kyler Garcia, all these guys kind of pushing for tick. And it's going to be really hard because we got 7 dudes. Like I have in bold on this list, like bold means starters, like 7 like starting level guys in this group. This might be the deepest. Our D-line last year was nasty at the top, and they have been, but a lot of that is, the Haynes scheme, right? And the Haynes ability to kind of make you confused and do a lot of things. Like, not saying there's no talent, like Daly and Kamara are going to be NFL guys, and likely Wyatt as well. And CJ West is playing on the 49ers as we speak. Getting ready, and he's training, getting ready for his next year too. This is the deepest group that we've had by far. I don't think we've ever come in with this level of 7 just studs that come in. I'm going to start at the D tackle spot first. We bring back 2 starters, 2 national champions at the D tackle spot, Tyreek Tucker and Mario Landino. Number 97, Mario Landino, 6'4", 284, junior. And then Tyreek Tucker, the nose, number 95, 6 foot, 302, redshirt senior. I mean, these are guys that could be at the combine next year. Like, he's national champs. Tyreek Tucker's a playmaker. I think he's a big leader on this defense as a whole, not just this D-line group. He is the bona fide leader, being probably with Cignetti the longest out of anyone on this team by far. He's the only James Madison guy left. He's going to be so pivotal as a leadership guy and a production guy for this group. And then Landino is probably the NFL, like, lifer. He might be a 3-and-done guy. This is year 3 for him. We've said it before, he's got an NFL spin move from that 3-tech spot. Like, he is a problem. And when we talk about pass rush from the inside from this team, it's been starting with Landino. Like last year, it started with Landino in the middle. He was that guy. And Tyreek Tucker's really good against the quarterback too. And then we bring in a Joe Yelly, who kind of fits into those, short yardage, rotational guy, like brings a lot of experience. Number 90 in your program, 6'3", 309, the redshirt senior, transfer out of Tulsa. So we didn't get Brody Foley, but we got Joe Yelly, and it's spelled Hjelle. That's Joe Yelly, and he really fits into this really strong DT. Like that guy's your DT3. Like Jesus, wow, like that's basically having James Carpenter as your DT3. Like this team is loaded. Like let me tell you, and they're deep, and they have a lot of guys in the weightings that are going to push for that fourth D tackle spot, whether it's Garcia, White, Hill, or Javers Hall, Smythe, McCaney. Like there's a lot of guys that can push for that, and but they have 3 solid guys up top, and then I didn't even get started on the DNs, man. Like that's probably the best part of it. I gotta look up whether the Kansas State guys were blue chips or not real quick. Hold on. I'll come back to you.
No, I'm completely with you. I think when you start to think about
give me your thoughts on the D tackle group. How about that?
It's deep, man. It's super, super deep, and it's productive. And when you start to think about who the best defensive lineman on this football team is, it's like you can almost talk yourself in circles when you go, well, it's Landino because he does this. And then you go, well, Tyreek Tucker's actually might even be harder to take off the field. But then the way Landino gets after the quarterback, but Tucker also gets after the quarterback. And from production in the Indiana system, I don't even know if you could choose which one of them has been more productive, but I think if you told me you thought the best one was either of those guys, I'd probably just nod along.
Yeah, it's bringing back 2 starters from that championship group. Now, like I said, 7 starters, but 3 of them are from that championship group, which I think is really strong, and it's just about those other 4 guys fitting in. So like a Joe Yelly fitting in at that D tackle spot, following in the wings of Landino, which brings a little bit more question marks for the DN spot, but I think they're a lot more talented, and I'll tell you why.
Well, I'll pause you right there too, and
yeah.
I think that given the amount of depth, if you see a couple of those younger guys really push and try and earn their way into playing time, you can literally take Landino and just kick him over to end, and that eliminates any of the depth issues or production issues you might have with that position. And the depth and the versatility that this defensive line has is like downright terrifying.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary hours for guys like Sand, guys like Moore, guys like Mayava, who are gonna have to see these guys. Bryce Underwood, who's gonna have to see these guys this year. Calandria. Yeah, it's hunting season, and these guys are gonna get started. This DN group is gonna get it going even further. On my starting line, there's 4 guys that are legit stars, and they're all gonna rotate. They're all gonna play. It's like the same thing with like Martin, Richard, and Lee Beebe. Like they're all gonna play, and they're all gonna play a big part. And they have like 4 starter level guys. I think it starts with Toby Osasonmi, number 12 in your program from Kansas State, 6'2", 244, comes in at that stud spot. You're going to learn the freeze. He's called the freeze. We can just call him the freeze because his name is so hard to pronounce. We'll just call him the freeze. He freezes tackles in the box and gets to the quarterback, and he'll do his freeze dance. And we'll go back to and then every play has life and history of its own. And we're back to the next one. He just has to learn that. We could celebrate it, and then we're back. Blue chip guy. So he has the stud. He's been a guy. And now why are you doing that?
Did the freeze.
The freeze. All right. Yeah, the freeze. All right. And then on the other side, another blue chip guy from Notre Dame, Josh Barnum, is going to wear number 8 next year. He was a blue chip recruit, 4-star. He was like a top 100 guy. Like he's as blue chip as it gets. No fringe here. 6'4", 246, very similar size to the freeze here. He's going to wear number 8, but I think he just comes in right away. And like those 2 guys as your edge guys getting to the quarterback, like you're good to go. And then they bring in the Freeze's sidekick, Chidi Obiazer, whose brother was just in the combine over for TCU. Chidi is a big DN, 6'5", 272, as a redshirt junior. going into year 4. So he can come back next year, by the way. Exciting. Riveting stuff. And he can come back. Yeah, but he can come in as like that bigger DN. So when we go short yardage, he's going to be a rotational guy on every downs. Like when we go short yardage, like he's going to be in there with like Yelly and Tucker and Landino, and he's going to be that extra beef that we were able to bring in as a big DN to kind of set the edge if they want to go outside on short yard situations, which is going to be huge to have. I love just the ideal DN mold of like 6'6", 280, and he's really close to that. So I love that kind of mold that he has, and translates to the league. And he has that up. All these guys have that upside, which is like the scariest part about it. And then Daniel Ndukwe, he's the fact that he's the last guy being spoken with, a guy that's been in the program 2 years, a returning starter, started in the Oregon game. His first start, gets 2 sacks, including a strip sack. And it's Oregon in the semis. Like, yeah, that's your 4th guy.
Block the punt.
I feel bad.
2 career punt blocks for Ndukwe.
I feel bad for some of these quarterbacks. Let's just say that.
You could argue he's the most athletic guy on the field.
He's probably one of the best. He's the guy that we saw, and when we were crunching tape in this early season side days, and we were going through this initial class that are all June. Remember, we were so high. We missed Roe Hardy. We were late to the Roe Hardy party. We didn't really catch on the Roe Hardy party, by the way.
No, listen, you actually noted he was an all-state basketball player, and then I noted that we can't just disqualify people because Kurt Signetti brought them in for a reason. So actually, we're probably a little bit ahead on Roe Hardy.
I'll take ownership and say I was a little late to the Hardy party until I noticed him about game 1 or game 2 of the first year. I didn't notice Roe Hardy, and then I, as soon as I noticed him though, I had to take where he's the best player of all time. So. We can make amends, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe I'm overcompensating, but Daniel Ndukwe is a guy that really stood out to us. Him and Landino, when we were crunching tape and looking at kind of their production in high school. I mean, this Ndukwe guy, he played receiver in high school. He's a freak. He can do it. When we talk talking bend on D lineman that bend. It's Daniel Ndukwe. We got the freeze, the bend, we got the girth with Obiazer, and we got the grit with Josh Barnum. Like loaded isn't even the right word, because I use that for this team, and this team like somehow surpassed it. Like, let me pull up who was our 2 deep last year going into this. All right, so we had Wyatt, Kamara, and Daly. Like, it's hard to say that these guys are going to be good, but it's like, let's say these guys stay healthy. Like, we didn't have Wyatt and Daly down the stretch. They weren't even there. Keep these guys healthy. We'll be just fine.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, the production left, production came in. Like, if you're going to answer the question of who's the best one in this defensive line group, though, who are you going with? In the whole group?
Best. Who's my? I want to say Mario Landino so bad, but I have a feeling it's going to be the freeze.
Oh.
And I love Tucker and Landino, and I think Landino is going to be like a top 100 pick guy.
Signetti said
like he can play if he goes out this year and has an all-conference year. Like, he's going to go top 100. I think people are going to wake up to the Landino crowd, but let's go with the freeze. I think the freeze might be better right now because he's 2 years older than Landino. I think that has to be said. Like, you gotta remember, they're just kids, right?
Just kids playing a sport.
Yeah, freeze
Brad,
is
Signetti said of the freeze that he, quote, moves different.
Yeah, that's when I got excited, because he doesn't say that about a lot of guys. That's why I think it's gonna be the freeze. It's gonna be Toby. That's why I like him there. But like I said, it's gonna be Toby this year. But then NFL career wise, I like Landino. Like, much like my Drew Evans versus Ajani take. You like that?
Yeah, I do. I do actually like that. I like it a lot. You got any closing thoughts, Brad?
Like
on
much
the
like I
roster,
think,
on the
much
rooms.
like I think Lee Beebe's better this year, but I think Kobe Martin's gonna have a better long-term career.
What you got? Closing thoughts on any of the rooms we just talked about? Indiana football. You want to move say a little piece about Indiana basketball potentially? Things
Well,
you
I'm
might
going to the game tomorrow, so don't say I don't support IU basketball. Even though I shit on the recent history of the team because it's pretty bleak and irrelevant. But hopefully we can make a new memory and beat either Minnesota and Rutgers.
No, it's Penn State or Northwestern, which is happening right now. No, it's over.
I don't want to see Northwestern. Who are we playing tomorrow? Who am I watching tomorrow?
Well, you're seeing Martinelli again, so get
Revenge game. We're gonna break the 6-game losing streak to Northwestern. Never thought I'd say that about basketball ever. And yeah, we'll get them back. You know, our arch rivals Northwestern in basketball, because that's the level that we've basically been at. So, yeah, a worthy opponent for us in the tournament.
Listen, you gotta take it one game at a time. But obviously, they play tomorrow night, 6:30. Brad will be in attendance. Win that one. Big if you win that one, you match up with Purdue on Thursday.
I tweeted out, and someone told it as a Hoosier fan told me it was a narrow statement, a bad statement, I guess, where a narrow-minded statement where if you're below 500 in your conference, I don't believe you should be in the tournament at large.
Yeah, I saw that
that
take. It's a fair take to have. I didn't
I
necessarily agree with it.
I think you let in VCU over any of those. Like, I'm looking at these bubble teams. I'm just looking at like Auburn's like damn near 500, and like VCU's like 28-4. It's like, what are we doing? Like,
That sounds like. Well, I asked somebody, like, I was like, why is Santa Clara on the bubble? Because I've been watching a lot of Santa Clara recently, and like they lost to Loyola Chicago back in November. It's like, all right, like Loyola Chicago is like the 300th ranked team on KenPom. It's like, okay, I get it. Like, I don't know. It's an interesting sport.
And yet,
I don't know.
and then you could argue that
for basketball.
And then you could argue that, oh, they have an easier schedule. And yet VCU has only one less KenPom top 100 win than Indiana, despite having way less opportunity.
This is a positive podcast.
Anyways,
and we're like, listen,
I'm just giving my take. And I think this team, if they get hot and they shoot, if you want a little nugget from me, they get hot, they shoot well, they play as a team, anything can happen in 4 days. It's basketball. It's kids shooting hoops. Let's make something happen. We control our own destiny. We win out, we're in the tournament. Simple as that. How about that? And if we lose, we're out. But if we win out, we're in. And guess what? That's a powerful thing.
It's March, and it's a really fun time for college basketball, regardless of how you feel about the, current or long term or what the metrics say or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's
you know what's cool about
patience is a virtue, Brad.
You know what's cool about winning the tournament is that we wouldn't have to play a first 4 game either, because that only goes to at-large teams.
Yeah.
How about that? We'd be a 10 seed. Yeah. Hell yeah. Maybe probably an 11 seed, but we're like
but in a bigger basketball sense, it's unbelievably fun to look at, like, just meaningful games all week this week, Selection Sunday, obviously this weekend. By the next time we speak, we'll be able to talk about and break down a bracket. Actually, funny enough, which reminds me, whoever won I never heard from whoever won the football bracket. And I also don't know, like, they didn't make their name anything of like a Twitter account or anything. So if you won the football pool, reach out to the account, DM us, do something, and let us know how we can reach out to you, because I can't reach out to you for that.
We're learning as we go here. We'll get the logistics of these.
But maybe we'll do a VOCFB bracket next week. I'm not sure. We'll figure something out. And then obviously, Brad, the World Baseball Classic is in full swing. Team USA beat Mexico last night. Roman Anthony hit a moonshot home run. America is waking up to Roman Anthony, and baseball's in full swing, and the season's right around the corner. And so it's an exciting time. Spring is in the air, Brad. And then we'll get Indiana football at the end of this month, which is very, very exciting. That's what I got for this week, Brad. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Indiana at the Voice of College Football on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitter, hop on over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, like button, all that good stuff. You can get us on all the audio platforms. If you like listening on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff, we're on there. YouTube clips are coming out on the channel every day this week. And then follow us on Twitter. Follow me at Alec Keyser. Follow Brad at Bradley_Loomis8. He's been tweeting a lot more, like actually tweeting a lot more. He's being active on the timeline. I'm proud of the stuff you're putting out, Brad.
I'm taking breaks at work more. Let's just say that.
And then, yeah, like we said, the springtime is approaching, and yeah, we'll be on top of all the Indiana football news that comes out. And obviously, there's some Indiana basketball stuff that, it'll be a really fun offseason, regardless of how the rest of this season goes. Is they'll have a really cool opportunity to take a little of that surplus that we talked about in the beginning of the show or the middle of the show and reallocate that across multiple different programs. And what is it about a rising tide lifts all boats or something like that? Like, it's football success will lead to success in other avenues of athletics. That's kind of just how this stuff works. And so hang in there. And it's like somebody put up on the timeline.
Hang in there.
It's just tough being Indiana, like the Indiana basketball fans. Like, I feel for the lifelong basketball fans. It's like Fred Hoiberg was like 26 and 40 something in his first couple Big Ten seasons. So it's like DeVries isn't even. I don't know. That's not the point. But we're an Indiana football show. We're talking Indiana football. Indiana Pro Days coming up on April 1st, and yeah, we're bringing all the IU football news. Brad's gonna break down the linebackers, the safeties, and the special teams guys next week. And
oh my god.
I was spending a lot of time
on IU basketball. Hang in there. Just hang in there, guys. You got it. All right.
I've been spending so much time on evanmiyakawa.com, who does the BPR, and
I think me and Keys have been solving, like, we have you guys, we have the list. You go tamper. We got it. We got it figured out. We cracked it.
Listen, this is super easy. As long as you can tamper, there are no other barriers, and you kind of just pick and choose whoever you want. Like, you can build a super.
They all choose to come back to school.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy. Yeah.
So much easier than everybody makes. You just go do it. Like, what are we talking about?
Go get Hans Steinbach. Like, just go get him. Like, what are we talking about?
A lottery pick. Just
go get him.
This stuff is so easy. Oh my god.
Just go get him.
That's why I'm glad.
Washington. That's not going to be NBA. It's Indiana. Yeah.
I'm glad Ryan Carr is Ryan Carr, and that I'm not Ryan Carr, and that he's more than qualified to be doing what he's doing, and that is something that we can have comfort in.
But yeah, Ryan Carr, call me. I got ideas.
We got it. Don't call us. You're doing too much. You're writing Kurt Signetti's book. You're trying to save college sports landscape. Like, you're gonna fix Indiana basketball. You can't wear that many hats, bro.
I'm a guy who wants to do potentially maybe a career change, but it's difficult. The entryway of this career change is really hard. So I'm using a platform to get there potentially.
I love it. We'll be back next week. Indiana football.
I love my job.
Appreciate you guys hanging out. Go Hoosiers.